Yesterday we talked a lot about lane swaps, a lot about logistics of lane swaps, why lane swaps exist. Today we're going to talk way less about lane swaps because I feel like I'm basically just becoming the lane swap person. And, we're diversifying. We're proving that we can demonstrate other things, that we have more depth to what we're talking about. Anyway, rotating into the main look, this is probably what I will put on YouTube. Which is going to be the TES clips or the TES section. The rest is bonus for stream subs and people who want to watch the stream and hang out and see what I said about Gamut Fanatic. But this is the main content that will probably go on the YouTube channel and get edited. So Loud versus TES. For me, the most interesting thing about the way TES play is the timings and the way in which they set up things and how precisely they're looking for windows to engage fights. And a lot of people kind of flamed them and said, oh, TS just like fight everything. But a lot of times the windows or the situations in which they're going for fights are very well calculated and set up. And it just feels a bit risky, like they're making a bait play that they're trying to use to catch the enemy off guard on. This is not always the case, obviously. There are some fights that TS take that are not calculated, that are really terrible. However, I do think that there's a lot of like kind of smart things that they've done in terms of fight setup and how they're playing that I'd like to talk about. So that's what we're going to do here. All right, here, this is something very important you'll notice. I started the clip a bit late, again, because we're restricted to like 60-second clips. What happened is Tinones came mid and ended up getting Cream very low HP. So if you notice Cream very low HP bar. Usually what would happen in this scenario is Tinones would then push out the wave completely. Cream would maybe get a hover from jungle, like jungle or support would come over here, and they would let him catch this wave. Tinones would base, buy some gold or do something, and then Cream would catch the wave over here and then base after. But what TES do instead, I thought it was like pretty well done and pretty interesting because they're doing it in conjunction with what's happening bot. So what's happening bot is Poppy's going for invade, and you have 600 gold ahead on Tien because he got an early advantage in the swap in this game, which we'll also look at the very end. But he got an early advantage in XP and gold on the swap in this game, and also just in general stayed ahead of Croc. So in this scenario, what happens, they use the advantage that he's already ahead. They use the advantage that bot is coming back out of base and is going to look for a fight on Calista 6 timer. And then they use all of these factors to guarantee that they get a favorable play. So let's take a look. So, all right, we see Cream is actually basing right away. So Cream is not going to standard tower. He's not going to risk like getting dove by the Poppy. He's not going to risk any of those things. Xinjiao is not in position to hover. None of those. So he bases right away. And as soon as he bases, basically Acel decides to match. Acel, neither Cream nor Tinones have TP, so they both base, knowing that they're going to be walking back to lane. Knowing that they're going to be walking back to lane, Tien walks mid, and he catches this wave. So as soon as Tien catches this wave, you have Calista and Renata here. They're contesting this ward. It's fine for them to contest this ward because Tien hasn't shown yet. It's a little bit risky, right? Because you don't know exactly where a Croc is. But as long as Mako he does not have flash. I don't know. He's kind of trolling. Anyway, he has ult though. He has Calista ult. As long as you have Calista ult, you can play safe. You can contest this ward. You can force them to show. It's not a great timing to do it, but he's willing to kind of like play on the edge with Calista ult. And he's kind of trolling, but, we accept it because Tien's about to show mid. So now they have no Calista ult. They know that with no Calista ult and no flash on support, Loud might still want to make a play bot. But Tien is catching this wave here, so he's ahead. Azir is also ahead on tempo because Azir based first. And now we assume Croc is going to stay on map. We actually have vision of him here. He stands on ward, so TS is aware of all these things happening. They also know Tian is coming out of base with the Sundered Sky. So the idea is like, okay, look juicy, bait here, like, see if we can get them to contest this vision, contest this fight, contest this Drake. Azir, very important, is on mid wave first. TS get this bot wave. And now we're thinking, okay, Loud's going to play for this wave very aggressively because they want to pull Drake. So we know that they're going to play for this wave very far up. So let's just try to start a fight. Just immediately go. Tian walks out. They engage on him. But look Cream. He's going first. He has first move because he based under tower before Acel did. Runs through jungle. They have Sundered Sky on Tian. And this is a fight win. So this is like, I thought this was just like well coordinated on timers. In terms of all of the factors that went into play here. I thought this was like very well done from TS in terms of like, we're going to bait this fight in a situation where Loud think it's favorable because Tian just showed mids, because Cream had the base, because he was low HP, like all of these factors, because Jackie Love no ults, Mako no flash, like all of these factors indicated that Loud could have a favorable situation, but because of the timing in which TS chose to do things, they could turn the situation very efficiently. So I enjoyed this one. Next clip. This is another kind of like bait clip. So TS get the wave in all the way, and they have top prio because Azir is pushing here. 10 owns, if you notice minimap, 10 owns just showed catching the bot wave. And basically TS's bot lane just cleared out. Bot or Jackie Love, I guess. Jackie Love and 369 just cleared out the bot side vision. Bot side vision, and then they rotate mid. 369 walks aggressive way to like completely take space. And then they know, so Loud, again, this is a scenario where Loud could think that they have a favorable fight scenario, right? Because TS are playing super far into the jungle here. They just saw Azir on top wave. They just saw Jackie Love show on bots. They know that 369 is on this other side, so this is, and that Talia can be here before Azir. Like, this is very important. Talia has ult, she can be here before Azir, and she just showed on this bot wave. TS want her to ult here. TS wants her to ult into this area. The reason why TS wants her to ult here is because that keeps tempo in bot, right? That keeps tempo in bot for them. They can force Tenons to use ult or to go here, and then they can rotate because they have this vision in place in bot side jungle. Like these words here. Because they have this, they can, if Tenons comes over here, they can go back over here very much more easily because of 369's position, because of wards, because of the control that they have on the side. If Tenons doesn't try to push this, if Loud don't try to clear out this vision, then it's very easy. If TS force a play right now and get Talia to come, then it's very easy for them to continue pressuring bot. So we'll see how this plays out for them. Okay, they're staying on this ward. They're playing up. Very interestingly, they engage on Tian instead of Mako. I think the reason why they do this is because they think that they can kill him faster, but obviously Mako has ult. And so they basically use this as a bait. Loud thinking that they can't kill Mako fast enough, even if they force here, because of 369's position, end up engaging on Tian over the wall. And they stall out, they bait this, Tian gets super low. So this is like a risky fight on paper, but it's also a fight where they know if they can stall enough time with Tahm Kench, they can win. And then, importantly, if you check bot wave's still fucked. Top wave's still in a position that's like not terrible for them. They'll have to have one person catch top one time. But in theory, that fight was like looks really risky, but it's a fight that is set up with the idea in mind of we're going to force Loud to come to this fight, and then we're going to keep our map state in a good position for us so that we stay ahead of them. So I thought this was like a good example of like how they're using Tahm Kench to basically bait these fights that would seem favorable for Loud, but are actually favorable for TS. And if you the backdrop on this one is that 369 and Cream got caught when they were pushing out bot, and then Loud ended up pulling or got killed when they were pushing out bot, and then Loud got a Drake. Loud were forced to play for the Drake because it would be soul for TS. So Cream, immediately knowing that they got the Drake, hexes as fast as humanly possible into top side. Well, okay, he doesn't do that because he does wolves first. But Tien being a bro, goes as fast as possible into top river. Jackie Love, Cream, all walk top, run top very, very fast. Okay? They drop pink, they kill this ward, they know there's no vision behind them. Absolutely no vision behind them. So they know this because everything was just at bot. They had this top wave pushed all the way away. If Loud somehow gotten wards in here, it would be amazing. But they ran super fast, except for the wolves. Just he got the wolves because he was waiting for Jackie Love. That's fine. And then they clear this out. They have control here. So important to notice, okay, when this is being set up before we get to the pivotal moment. Two things. One, once again, Talia is on bot wave. So once again, Talia is on bot wave. Again, no wards behind TS. They're very confident there's no wards behind them. Very confident in this, based on everything that's played out in the game so far. Two, if you're very confident of this, and you end up killing the only vision they have, there could be 5 people in this jungle, and there could be 3 people behind Cream, right? There could be, in theory. He does this, which seems like insane grief. And in a way, it is insane grief. But it's like he engages forward. Redbird's on this side, so you also like watch the positioning here. So Tien has eyes on Redbird. They know how fast Redbird can basically walk this way. They also see Redbird use Q. Importantly, they see Redbird use Q. They probably have timed his ult as well. And so they know that the threat on Cream is basically no ults on bot lane. The only threat is like if Talia comes, or if Croc like insta ults, something like this, right? This is basically the only threat that they have on him. So he plays up, which they're very convinced that he's not going to do, because there could be 3, 4, 5 people here. So TES like go for this kind of bait play to try to see if they can force like Talia to look for TP or Talia to look for to run mid and say, oh look, Cream's griefing, we can fight. Because they don't want Tinoans to push the next wave. That's the main thing. So I mean, again, like very simple thing. They're trying to bait as hard as humanly possible to get Louds to come fight them. That's what they want. And then they spend like the next 5 or so minutes just pulling this Baron, trying to force fight, and they end up with supers in Loud's base. So this is just a small thing. Yeah, it was definitely a psycho dash, but it's if you're confident in the ults of the enemy team and there's no wards for TP behind you, then it's actually like relatively safe, right? It's actually relatively safe, so I didn't mind it. All right, so this is another one. So here, Jackie Love tries to stop Asol's base. He does not get the Asol base, right? The Asol base doesn't happen, but he does see Asol base. The important thing is that he sees Asol base. So he sees Asol base. He hits this wave super aggressively. They know Asol has based. Cream insta channels this TP, knowing that Aesol has based. They run into the topside jungle. They fight Krako like crazy people. And 369 gets this top wave. They set up. They know that they have positional advantage. Tinones ends up TPing bot, so that's even better. And this is like free grubs for them and free topside control. So just like them moving that quickly off of Aesol base, I thought was really cool. They also TP bot here. So there's like one more rotation after this. They also have 369 TP bot here, and Cream continues to play for this turret. Seeing 369 TP bot here, knowing that Aesol has a move window because he already got the wave in, and knowing that Poppy's coming up, right? You're thinking, okay, we can have numbers advantage in a bit, so we can maybe look for a play. Robo goes a little bit crazy, engages right away. Under tower, probably thinks he can survive. Dies because, also importantly, we talked about the mid-wave before. Callistra, Renata get this mid-wave. Varus has to catch this. So they know that they have like fast play here before Aesol can rotate. So they know that this is still them, their top side of the map for a short period of time, and Robo kind of like loses his mind, but they know that this play has to be very short. They get engaged on, they have to stall here with Renata, and Aesol rotates. Aesol rotates fast. But this fight ends up going favorably for TES. They end up winning out on this, and I don't show the full clip, but you see like how they're playing this. What I find very important and very interesting about the series is TES played with Renata and Tahm Kench, both champs that can stall fights, right? Both champs that can like kind of bait you and see if like you're gonna force a loud hard engage, and then they turn it, right? So they're very much going with the idea of like we're gonna play like these very fast fights, where we're going to stall out until we have advantage. So I like that a lot from them. So that this fight ends up going well. I cut this clip so that we can show the next one. So this one, I think I liked the way that they played around vision and expectations here. So this is another bait clip, right? So this is back to the first game. This is earlier on. So watch how Tian's playing and where Tian's position is. So first, he walks this way. So they know this ward is here because they placed wards like... They placed this ward after this one. But they have a reason to expect based on like checking enemy wards that this bush will be warded or that there would be a ward here. Because like there's very low likelihood this bush is not warded. So Tian walks through this sliver here, ends up not getting spotted on that ward, walks over here, basically feigns base to see if he can bait. Gets crab on spawn. He also basically just channels base because crab's about to spawn. TS get this bot wave in. So they see Croc coming here. And they immediately turn on the collapse. They immediately turn on the collapse here. Force to fight. And then Tian has to base anyway, because he's low. TS get this bot wave in. So this is a base timer for Jackie Love and Mako now. Staying ahead, because they fought on that wave. Also important, 369 most likely called out that this was warded, because they saw Robo walk into topside while this was happening. So he's called out that this is warded. So even though Gromp's going to be up for top very soon, he walks this direction. They see Tenones on that ward. They assume, based on his body language, that he must have placed this ward in this bush. Tian instantly pinks it, kills the ward. Well, they don't kill it, but it's not showing. And then walks this way. So basically, they have now gotten like so much information off of Wukong's rotation. After this is when he'll end up showing on this ward, but he only shows on this ward after Jackie Love and Mako secure base. So basically, they're just playing around vision in this short sequence like very well. forcing on the bot fight and then getting and securing base ahead of time for bot. So I thought this was well done. So this one is, I think, a little bit more disputable, but Tian ends up showing on this bot wave. They drop the ward. Croc comes out here. They see Croc almost insta. They end up pinking. They see Redbird use hook. And then they're playing like somewhat slow here. So you see them not playing like super contentiously. They know, everyone knows Tian is here. Tian's sitting in bush, cancels base. And they know Tulia is gonna come bot. So they know all this is happening. So they're waiting for Cream to get the wave. Like, watch Cream on minimap. They pull Drake. Then Tian walks up. So everyone's like, what is Tian doing? They're pulling Drake. Like, we know Tinones is here. We know Croc is here. Force the ulti. He uses, like, the Shroud. Basically ends up being untargetable in this instance. Mako's playing up. But Cream TPs because they waited for Cream to get the wave in before he makes this play. But it's like a very obvious bait scenario where it's like, oh, Tien's playing like a psycho. But because he has like this, because they have Stunner Shroud, because he has this Shroud, Azir TPs in. And then even though Mako gets caught out, they can turn it and trade war for one. So for me, this one is like, okay, we're playing with the tools that we have in our kit in terms of stalling after we engage the initial fights. We know the timer when Cream is going to get it in. We can wait out the TP channel, and then they win like this. This one is mostly just a simple one because it's a Cassante timer. They wait for the engage, and then Tahm Kench flashes over wall. Tahm Kench flashes over wall, instantly eats. They buy time for Cassante because they know Cassante will rotate first. So they buy time with Mako like being able to flash over wall and eat. And then from there, they can just win this fight. Because they know Cassante will be here first, so even if the fight doesn't go well initially, they can win out. And Lot have to disengage. So that was just like a small one, but I thought that was like well played and probably calculated in advance like as a bait for Mako. Oh, this is the lane swap. Right. This is the lane swap. So, you know me, being obsessed with lane swaps. Very interesting. They make themselves not scoutable. They place level 1 wards here so that if people, and by here I mean these positions on the map. So here, level 1 wards. They place the level 1 wards so that it's very easy to see if anyone walks into this jungle. And where typically, right, you've seen junglers start on this side during lane swap, the side of their bot lane, walk into this jungle, or do these and then walk over here. Basically what happens is they do these 3 camps and then they walk into bot side and look for a dive. It's been very common for like jungles tops to look for that, and you can see Loud's jungle top kind of following that same pattern. So this scenario, you would expect them to do that, but because they place these wards, they're kind of playing with that expectation. They also have like relatively strong level 1. So Robo does end up looking. He places this ward. He doesn't bother to check red buff. Sees no one's doing Raptors. Stands on Raptors. Looks for a dive on Cream. And then all this while, Tian is farming, right? Tian's farming this entire time. Croc only does blue. And I don't know, he kind of griefs, but they get half HP on Cream. They sort of like take the skirmish, get them low, and then Tian just prioritizes going and farming more camps. So they're 8 and 8 here, but because you've wasted extra time, effectively, Tan is going to end up ahead because he goes from these two camps to these camps, knowing that he can also get these camps because of the lane swap scenario, right? So in theory, like because of this, Cream got this camp, this camp. Actually, I'll do this on minimap. He got this camp, this camp. He can get these, he knows, because he has full bot side control. And he can also most likely get these. Maybe this, but less likely. So he'll be ahead of Poppy. Very important. He'll be ahead of Poppy because of the way they did this. And I thought this was interesting because it's like playing with expectations since a lot of teams have been starting like their side. And they didn't see, like, if they saw anyone walk over these wards, they wouldn't have started these camps, right? They would have gone over here. So, interesting adaptation because we've talked about how lane swaps can get bot ahead. We've talked about how lane swaps can, in theory, like, top can prioritize, like, getting a little bit of XP. You can put the enemy top down, but in this case, they actually played for jungle advantage, which I thought was, like, an interesting adaptation. And not necessarily related to the overall theme of what we're talking about, but what they end up doing with it is interesting. Okay, so here, this is what they end up doing with their XP advantage. So, Tian, because he got all those camps that we talked about, is currently 2 levels above Croc. He's not going to stay 2 levels above Croc. Croc's about to level up, but he does. He is ahead of Croc, and he's ahead of Croc at the time that they reswap in order to contest grubs. So they're here, they push out the wave top, they drop a pink, in what I like to refer to as the evil bush, and instantly pull grubs. So he sees Croc here, knows he's a level up, knows he can force out Croc's W, knows his bot lane is getting the top wave in, because they should be able to, but I mean, Mako gets hooked. So, good play by Loud's bot lane. If Mako doesn't get hooked here, this fight and this play goes like super smoothly, right? Jackie Love's a bit behind XP, so Rout's like a little bit more XP ahead, but mostly because of roams. But they're wanting to use specifically wanting to use jungle XP advantage here to fight grubs. It ends up not going well. But you can see the plan, right? You can see the idea. It's like, okay, we've used this for jungle XP advantage. We should be able to fight grubs, and they cannot. But I like the idea. What are my predictions for tomorrow? I think probably TES 2-1. Because I think the way they play with, like, playing for baits and playing for, like, fast fights is somewhat abusable. And I think probably... I'm guessing it's going to be T1, 2-0. Oh, also, thank you, YouTube. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe.